Hey everyone, in this video we're going to be covering the uterus and some of the blood flow and the key principles that we need to learn about it. So I have what we essentially see in our coloring textbook that we're using. So I just have the bones here just so we can kind of see how it fits in. I'm going to remove them here in a second. But I also have the aorta, and you can see the blood supply that comes down and is supplying blood to the uterus as well. And then we can see the kidneys coming down to the urinary bladder. So let's remove the skeleton really quick. There we go. So right there, that's the median umbilical ligament. Uh, this is a remnant of when we were a fetus. I invite you to look up what that name was before it became the median umbilical ligament. Let's go ahead and get rid of it. So we have our kidneys bringing the urine down into that urinary bladder. And from that urinary bladder, there's our urethra. And then right there, uh, our urethra opening in this picture. What's crazy to note here is how short that urethra is in a female. That's why they get a UTI a lot easier than men because it's so short. When it comes to getting a UTI in a male, it that bug has to go like 8, 10 inches, before it reaches that urinary bladder. Whereas for females, it's only like an inch to 2 to 3 inches, you know. So crazy to think about and see. Right here we have the clitoris. That is the prepuce of the clitoris. We're going to remove that, remove the clitoris as well. That was the suspensory ligament of the clitoris. Bring back the skeleton. Kind of see where it fits in right there. Underneath that pubic symphysis is where it inserts into. And let's go ahead and get rid of this. Oh, get rid of this right here, the urinary bladder. All right, so here we are. We're left with the uterus itself, and let's break it down. So if we start from the outside, we have the vagina right there, and that is just the canal. That's it. That's the vagina. If we remove this wall, we can see the canal, and it leads up to the clitoris right there. And we have this gap between the front and the back, and that is going to be our anterior fornix and our posterior fornix right there. Just removing those. And then the cervix. Now looking inside the uterus, we've got several layers. We have endometrium. This is where that egg implants after it's fertilized. And then we have myometrium. Looking at the uterus from the posterior side, we can see this broad ligament right here. Uh, Complete anatomy lists it as mesometrium. We learn it as a broad ligament. looking at it from the anterior side, this is round ligament of the uterus. Go ahead and remove those so we don't get that confused with your uterine tubes or fallopian tubes. There's a couple of names for it. Oh, it got rid of something. Let me pull this back up. I wanted to show this. And so you have this broad ligament right here of the uterus, but above the fallopian tube or uterine tube, this is what's called the suspensory ligament of the ovary, and we have our ovarian artery or our gonadal artery in the female that runs down that and supplies the blood where it needs to go. So there's that ovarian artery, and right here we can see this internal iliac artery, and this is going to be our uterine artery supplying blood to the uterus. Now we're going to look at this uterine tube right here. There is 3 parts to it. This first section right outside of the uterus, that's going to be called our isthmus. Right here where we have this kind of loop, that's going to be our ampulla. And then we have what's called our infundibulum right here. And then we have our fimbriae, which is like the finger-like looking projections in the coloring textbook. And then here is our ovary, and then there is our ovarian ligament right there. When it comes to fertilization, to an egg that happens in the ampulla, that's where the egg will be fertilized, and then it travels down and then implants into the endometrium. Another note is the endometrium is what sheds every month if a woman is not pregnant. That's the lining that is going to be shedded during that cycle. So that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully it helped to see it that way. It can get kind of confusing in the coloring textbook, and we'll see you in the next video. All right, I just want to give credit where credit is due. These are the books and the resources I used for the videos. So first we have Essentials of Human Anatomy by Dr. Kurt Walker. We then have Essential Clinical Anatomy by Keith L. Moore and M.R. Auger and Arthur F. Daly. I also used Structure and Function of the Human Body by Mark Nilsson and Jamie Garbett. The last book I have is The Concise Book of Trigger Points by Simon Neil Asher. And then I used the app called Complete Anatomy. As you've seen from the videos, it's amazing. If you can afford it, I suggest it. It's such a useful tool when learning this stuff. So that's it. Have a good day.